If you've ever come off of a meeting completely stressed or gotten home completely stressed and you're walking into your relationship and that stress is impacting your relationship and not in a positive way, we are going to unpack that. We're going to help fix that. Continue to watch and we will see you in the episode right now. Welcome back to the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. I'm your host. Today's episode is going to be a fun one. Super passionate about talking about this one, just like I am all episodes. But this one I feel very close to because I just got married. It's how to love your partner better and to expand the love within your relationship when you have life stressors. And life stressors, and I'm going to be very, very specific about this one, work, because a lot of our hours are spent at work. I'm in the tech realm. If you're watching this, there's a high likelihood that you are into tech as well, because I know you're my guys, you're my girls. Like that's my sphere of influence. And that can be very, very, very demanding and very stressful. Now, I've realized that most of the time for me, when it's the most stressful is when I over-identify with my job, with my position, as if that's the most important thing in my life. And I under-identify with now being a husband, right? With being in a relationship, with trying to grow a loving relationship. And when you do those two things together, a lot of things relationally is out of whack. And when your relationship's out of whack, then it causes even more stress. So it's a bad cycle. For me, I'll tell you just a quick story. But first, actually, before the story, I'm going to get into the 3 quick tips so we get them at a high level. Number 1, you have to reallocate your energy. Number 2, you have to do something intentional together. And number 3, make your shared vision a priority. There was a point in time when I was running my apparel company, which was taking a lot of time. Carly and I were dating. I was working 2 jobs as well. And then I was also low on cash because I was trying to build back from going all in on 413, right? So if I'm painting that picture, it's basically working 3 jobs and having a relationship. And on top of that, not really understanding how to be in a relationship because I wasn't all, mentally and emotionally there. I was just so into me and not very present. And then having the stress of all 3 jobs and the financial stress of trying to build back a little bit. And then coming into a relationship where I'm like, I don't know how to really make this work and how to show up my best. The stress of the jobs really, really impacted my relationship. And so if you're watching this, I'm sure you've either been there if you were in a relationship or have been there if you are in a relationship or you're there right now. So we're going to really talk about it. Number 1, the first tip is to reallocate your energy. I had to really focus on this in the last 6 months, not because anything was wrong, but because I realized that for me, there was times where I was working where I was like, wow, I'm getting more worked up about things at work. And even though I'm taking some time to chill after my workday, and then even when I walk into or out of my office into my relationship, I'm still carrying that with me. And so the conversation is about the stress at work. And then with conversations about the stress at work, instead of talking about anything that we're trying to do together, about our days, about, the good parts of our days, about, just going on a walk, being present, it's all about the negative stuff. And so then the whole day becomes about the stressor instead of about the opportunity to grow the relationship, right? So really reallocate what you're giving your time to. What I do now and what I really, really focus on, and I was doing in the past, but I would say, I was kind of half-assed doing it, was, we would go to the gym together, but I would always be thinking about work. And I'm like, well, that's a time for us to connect. We both wake up early. Carly and I both wake up early. We go to the gym. So it's like, oh, now in the car, it's like, hey, it's 5:30 in the morning. We have 10, 15 minutes in the car just to talk, just to connect. We work out together sometimes. We come home. We walk the dogs. I don't take my phone. I leave it at home because I'm like, hey, for 20 minutes, and walking the dogs, fully connecting. We have some time before our workday starts. I love making breakfast. I make Carly breakfast. She gets the house tidy, but we're still talking. We're still communicating. We're still enjoying. And that's one thing where I'm realizing, okay, I'm very energetic in the morning. So if I'm very energetic in the morning, I don't want to then just come back from the gym and jump right into my workday, giving my best energy to, a job and a position where, yes, I'm valued and everything, but if something happens to me, that still goes on, and they find somebody else to do that. But if something happens to me at home, it's a way bigger impact. So my best energy, I make sure that I give to Carly, I give to the pups, I give to my family at home. That's something that is so vital, is making sure that you are reallocating your energy as well. And a part of that is identifying where you're at your most energetic self. I'm a morning person. In the evening, I'm not very energetic. So after work, I realize, hey, we'll make dinner together, and then we'll sit on the couch, we'll watch a show, and we'll do a devotion together. But it's a lot lower energy than in the morning because that's my most energetic self. When you're in a relationship, you want to make sure that your best energy is saved for the person and the people that matter the most. If they are given to other people and other things, over time, that's going to show. Your partner is going to end up resenting you. They're going to end up saying, well, we've been together for years, and all of this time, every bit of, goodness and everything about you've given to the job, you've given to these other places, and I get the scraps and I get the leftovers. That doesn't bode well over the long run. Number 2, do something intentional together. I talked about our morning walks. They're very intentional now. It's the one thing that I get so excited for because I'm like, hey, after a workout and we got the endorphins kicking and we got a 10-minute drive home and we're talking in the car, we're listening to a radio show, and then we're like, oh, the pups are excited for us to get home. Then we're able to go on a walk. It's something that's intentional for us. The other thing that we do is the 2x2x2 rule. So we actually heard this at a couples conference last year. So every 2 weeks, you want to have a date night, however that is. Every other month, so it's every 2 months, you want to have a one-night staycation / getaway, somewhere where it's affordable. And then every 2 years, if you can afford it, get out of the country or do some sort of big trip. So that's what we try to focus on, is making sure that every 2 weeks we have a date night, every 2 months we're doing some sort of getaway, and then every 2 years we have a big trip plan. And what that does is that intentionality gives you something to look forward to. So it gives a meaning for why you're doing the things that you do. I think that it's so funny because I say it's funny because I laughed at myself when I realized this. There's been times, and I've noticed this a lot, this is real time in the last week, where I've had busy work days, and then for whatever reason, meetings got moved and the days lightened up, and I was like, I've kind of got work done, and I have a few hours, and I work from home. And what my instinct is to find something to fill that time to just be busy. And what I started to do is I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the dogs on a walk. So take the dogs on a walk. And then I come back, work for about 30 more minutes. The pups are, having a good time in the living room. And I'm like, well, I still have some free time. Well, let's go on a longer walk. And I realize, when it comes to being intentional, we do this, we work hard, we work in the tech industry, we work our corporate jobs so that we can enjoy our life that is not at work. And so at times when you're not working, you want to be out there and enjoying and being intentional about that, right? And so for me, Carly is a phenomenal cook, phenomenal baker, everything. I also love making dinner and smoking meats. And on days where I am not crazy busy, I'm like, oh, I'm hopping on the smoker midday. That's exactly what I'm doing after this podcast, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm making dinner. I'm going out and grabbing something to make dinner. Like, I am doing things so I can enjoy my life. Be intentional about the enjoyment of your life, because you work hard and you have those stressors, not so you can take it to what's supposed to be enjoyable, not so you can take it to your relationship. It's so you can be able to enjoy your relationship and enjoy your life. Again, the 2x2x2 rule, I think that is something where I'm like, if I knew that earlier, that'd be great, but I'm happy I know it now. So, I'm sharing it with you. And number 3, make your shared vision a priority. I want to nail down on this so much. Our job and our jobs, we get very identified with, which I think that at times it's okay. And I think that at times, it just doesn't really need to be. But when you are making a shared vision with your partner, that's got to be a priority, because it's going to guide a lot of your decisions and a lot of the areas and places that you put yourself. For example, Carly and I, we love the things that we do outside of work. She loves to sew. I love to podcast and speak. I love performance coaching. We also love taking road trips. We also love spending time with the pups. We also want to grow a life where, coming into our house, it's full of love, and we want to have family over, and we want to have people come to the house, and we want to enjoy. This is our shared vision. It has nothing to do with stuff. We're not trying to just buy stuff, right? This is our shared vision. So whatever we do from a profession standpoint, from a standpoint of that allows us to, get finances, it's around the shared vision. And if it's something that just becomes overly stressful for an extended period of time, we have to assess, does this align with our shared vision? Is it moving us closer or is it pulling us away? And if it's pulling us away, then we take it out, right? And I think all too often, because I've seen it with myself, so I'll be very confident saying this, is we sit back and we say, but it's making money. And even if it's stressing us out, it's making so much money. And now we're stressed out, but we're making money. But then it's like we lose sight of what the shared vision is. And we might not even have a shared vision. Like if you want to love your partner better, get closer to your partner better, the shared vision is a thing that you all come together and you say, we're going to do this. And this is how we're going to make it work together. And I found that has been the coolest thing and the thing that has brought Carly and I the most intimacy, because it's the thing that when we're talking, we get so excited about, hey, how do we want our life to look? What things do we want to do? Where do we want to travel? This shared vision is vitally important, because when the stress of work and everything gets you down, because inevitably at some point in time it will, but you have to have a why. Like, man, why am I doing it? It's so that I'm able to allow myself to detach when I need to detach and put boundaries on it, and to have that shared vision with my partner. So again, how to love your partner when life is stressful. Number one, reallocate your energy. Reallocate it. Give your best energy to your partner. Give your best energy to your family. Those are the people, that's the person who deserve it the most. If you're giving your best energy to someone else, you cannot expect your partner to give your best energy back to you, their best energy back to you. Number two, do something intentional together. Be very intentional about your time together. Be very intentional about, how you interact with each other, because when you're intentional there, the thing with me and everything I talk about, it's consistency and habits. When I come to performance coaching, it's consistency and habits. I do not like to make things complex. Most things are simple. And like I've said in other podcasts, if somebody tries to overcomplicate a concept and make it super, super scientific, they might not know what they're talking about, because most things are a simple thing and a simple concept to grasp. Being intentional becomes habit. And when that becomes habit, that creates excitement in the relationship, because it leads into number three, which is making and having a shared vision together and making that a priority. Because when you're being intentional and you're doing things together, you're like, man, I want to do more of this because this is nice. So how can we do more of this? Then you start discussing the possibilities of doing more of this, which becomes a shared vision. And when that becomes a shared vision, you make that a priority, because you're like, this is lovely. I like being here. And so when you're going into work and when things are stressful, you're able to sit back and say, man, I'm doing this for a reason. It's because when this workday ends, I'm able to cut it off. I'm able to cut the stress off. I don't need to bring this over into this shared vision, because I'm doing this for a reason. One tool I really want to leave you with before I go, and this goes to tip one, is reallocating your energy. Identify when you are at your most energetic. And whenever you're at your most energetic, try to do something nice for your partner. And it might be an act of service. It might be those 5 love languages. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but do something for your partner. That has drastically changed my relationship, because in that energy surge, my first thought is, I want to do something for Carly. I want to connect with her, right? Whether she's at an energy level or not, all I'm saying is, I'm at my peak energy and I want to give this to you. So that is a tool that I highly, highly suggest that you do. That is regardless of how stressful your life and your day is. So that is all of the things today, and especially tying down into the work stress of it and really pinpointing that. Like I said, I work in the tech field. I understand how stressful it is in tech. And so that is something where I'm like, I really want to drive that nail home. So how to love your partner when life is more stressful. If you need to watch this 1,000 times to get it, please watch it. I will watch it again at some point in time and be like, I needed to hear what I just said when I lose sight of things, because we're all human. So if you like this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Peace. For free resources, paid resources, and one-on-one coaching with me directly for fitness coaching and performance coaching using my life coding system, go to RickeyJasperII.com, and I will see you there, and we'll talk directly and we'll make it happen.